10 a.m. I am going to read the roll call. Kimberly Spiro, I am here. Cassandra Corbin-Thaddeus is here. Deborah Robinson is here from the committee. Also Janina Simmons and Susan Holskla from the school district, and I can't see if anyone else is in the room.
It's just us at the moment.
I'm going to ask for any public comment. Not seeing anyone online and not hearing anything, I will move on. And so we're going to get into the business of working on our plan for the education of students, Black male students who are performing in an excellent way. I am not feeling well, so if someone needs to take over later, just let me know. But let's get started. Who wants to, at the end of the last meeting, we were trying to put our ideas into a connection to the strategic plan. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Should we pull up our little stick-it notes to start with that, and possibly also the strategic plan, so we have a visual for now?
One second, let me figure out my life.
No problem. I'm totally there with you.
Kimberly, can you reiterate what the result is that we want today?
I think we want to make our priority recommendation, but just in order to do that, I thought we could align it with the parts of the strategic plan that it correlates to. Does that sound like a good objective?
Yeah, I have a proposal, I guess, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Something for us to just kind of consider, and it aligns with we could look at the strategic plan, but it aligns with the student voices component of the strategic plan that we talked about.
Yes. There's
just for committee review.
Right. There are I guess, items under it. Am I correct? So I thought we would give the specific.
Are you talking about the themes that are in the strategic plan?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me for just 1 second.
Okay. Can everybody see that? What's the Zoom control? There you go. I was, listen. That should be big enough. Is that clear enough and big enough for everyone to see?
Yes.
All right.
Now, in my notes, on my notes, we talk a lot about professional development. Oh. But that's not the student voices.
Oh.
Does anyone have the other notes that indicate exactly what we're doing? The student voices, I'm sorry. It's been a bit of time.
So exactly. So what's the agenda for today?
Trying to come up with a recommendation for the overall committee, the DDEC.
All right. Well, let's look at the initiatives. I think that you should look at the initiatives of each of the themes. Let's review those and then go from there. What do you think?
Yes, that's fine.
All right. So the first one is academic excellence and growth. And if we look at the objectives of that, I'm not going to read them out loud. I'm gonna give,
No, that's fine.
everybody in here can read. Is it big enough for you guys to see?
Yes,
Okay.
or at least for me, and I'm usually the
Dr.
blind.
Robinson? She's not talking to me. What did I do?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. This is under academic excellence and growth.
Where is the student-focused culture?
Okay, you want to go to okay.
I think that's
All right.
where we're working right now. Does everyone agree?
Okay. So here's student focused culture.
I think number one, objective number one.
Increase
Does everyone agree?
increase student voice. All right. So the initiative under that is to establish formal structures for students to influence decisions at each school and the district. So that's basically what we're doing. 1A under B. I think it's B1A is what it would be called.
Okay.
And so if we look at that, let's see, I'm trying to see what else we can look at.
Anyone jump in if we're going on the wrong
Let's go
path?
here. So then, so these are indicators under the education, affirm, and inspire pathway that we
Okay.
have. So just so that we can include that. So we got B1A. I wonder how I could do both. Let's go back. Yeah, you didn't go back. Yeah. Okay, there you go. We got B1A, increase student voice and choice in educational experiences is the objective. And then 1A says establish formal structures for that. So now, if we look at the education and affirm and inspire indicators, we can, there is, under affirm, there is, let me increase this. All right.
Are we talking about the sticky page, or do we just want to?
Well, I'm just, oh, you guys can't see that. Oh,
I remember some of the things we discussed. One is having Dr. Cassandra, is that okay? Make a presentation for the school
you.
board, and then possibly in the training, preschool training of all the staff. So
right. So Dr. Thaddeus did Corbin Thaddeus did a MOU.
Okay.
And Keith and I reviewed it for her to present to the district. Did they tell you when you would be doing that? All right. So I'm not sure what the rest of the process is, but it looked good to us for her to be able to present. He gave you feedback. Keith? Oh gosh. This is
An
like-
MOU is a
I'll make sure she
memorandum
gets
of
her feedback back. I think he had to submit it to legal to make sure the legalese was in there, and then he will share that back with Dr. Corbin Thaddeus, and then from there she'll present to the district. So
And when you
yeah.
say district, to the board or to
The board.
the
The
staff
board.
during? Okay.
I believe it's the board
Okay.
because the board has to approve the MOU.
Okay.
Is that correct, Dr. Robinson?
No.
No?
It depends on, well, no, okay, if my brain is completely on no, the MOU, depending on the financial impact, can be done under the authority of the superintendent or others, right?
Okay.
But the whether or not the board has to vote on the MOU is separate and apart from a presentation to the board. So I think that Kimberly was asking if the MOU says that the presentation would be to the board or to, you know, administrative district leadership.
Or both.
Right.
So I was under the impression, but I'll check with that Keith was going to bring it to executive cabinet. But I was under the impression that after executive cabinet, it had to go to the board. But you have so my time my pathway might be a little jaded. But I know that he said something about executive cabinet to present it to executive cabinet.
Okay, so but the bottom line here for our purposes today is that's one of the recommendations we'll be making to the larger committee,
Yes.
Yes.
right? And so what category was that being put under?
It was student voices, B, student focused culture. I'm sorry, student
I'm bringing
focused
it up.
culture. 1A, establish formal structures in educational experiences.
Okay, so can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
Dr. Corbin Thaddeus, I think has something thought out she wants to present to us for consideration.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sorry for going off away from that.
No, Kimberly, you're just fine. This was helpful for Janina to show us like exactly what, where we were to focus in the strategic plan. It was just super helpful to align that.
And so you can, I'm sorry, I keep bringing the mic to my mouth like I'm getting ready to belt out a song or a rap. It is 50 years of hip hop. You can find the strategic plan on the district webpage under departments, then strategic management, and then there's the strategic plan right there. And I believe it could be on the under the superintendent tab also, I can't remember, but that's how I get to it. So it's the district webpage, departments, and then strategic management, and then the strategic plan. Good morning. How are you, Dr. Mustinik? No, you're fine. So this is just my opinion, and I'm just here. I think that we need to first focus on what we're doing with what we've already got, and then Dr. Corbin Thaddeus will. What's the presentation?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay. And then, so once we establish, so that we can stop revisiting the same, I'm a real big believer in touching it once and twice, only if it's necessary. I think that we need to stay focused and try to get this done, and then
Right.
look at what the rollout for this would be. Does that make sense? So if we try to, so do we know what we're doing as far as student voices concerned, what initiative we are tackling, what theme, and then we move on to what that rollout would look like for you're talking about for the MOU?
Go ahead. I am trying to pull up that
Okay.
website.
I'm so confused now.
Somebody's about to speak. Whoever.
Yeah, just me. So I don't know. See, Janina and I do this all the time because I think we kind of work like yin and yang or something. So I think that we just take let's just go through those sticky notes and say which initiative they fit under. Because we just need to lump them. We need to chunk them. That's what we said. Or
Okay.
or as we go through them, we could say, well, you know what, that was not so important. Or there's a couple, as I recall, that are quite similar that we can turn into one instead of having three maybe it's in the one, because, yeah.
Okay.
Instead of starting with the strategic plan, that's what I'm saying. Start with stickies and go to the strategic plan, because that's how my brain's gonna work anyway.
Okay, do we have the stickies up or do we need to do that?
I'm looking for them now
Okay,
because I think I'm logged in under Susan
okay.
on here. All right.
I assume not there.
Okay. Oh no, this is something. Huh? Oh, you're the person that's logged in. Okay, well, let me see if I can find it on my computer and then I can share. All right. Did I unshare your stuff? I think I did. You're not being shared. Okay. Sorry, Jonathan. I'm all in your business. Let me take your inbox out. All right. So let me go to my mail. Go to Jamboard.
I have it. You got it? I said I pulled it up.
Oh, you know what? I know.
All right. So
Yeah.
these, what we have here, right? So Dr. Robinson, I thought we clumped this last time.
We did, but now what we said was we have to do it based on the strategic plan. This is not based on the strategic plan.
Right.
So now the student voice, we could, let's go through that first, because and I think that's going to tie to Dr. Cassandra's points, if I'm inferring things correctly, but.
What is going on here? All right. I made it smaller, not bigger. Sorry.
Does the size of the sticky notes have any significance?
Say it again.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Somehow they just ended up that way.
All right. So, I mean, let's just go through them. Kimberly,
Okay.
just go through them and then let's see if there's some that actually is saying the same thing in different ways and figure out what language we want to use. And then we say, okay, we'll put that, whatever it is here that we agree to, I guess will go under whichever objective y'all just told me. Objective B1.
Right.
The opportunities to self-advocate certainly falls under there.
Okay, what's happening now?
I'm just trying to make them bigger
So we
they-
can see them.
so you can see them.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so can we go?
Yeah.
'Cause I-
Go ahead.
We can go while I make them bigger. I'm just trying to make them bigger so you can see them.
I think that we try to find the ones that relate to the established formal structures for student-focused culture. So the ones involving parents are the other sub-objective or whatever you call it. So what's YPE, please?
So it's youth partnership. What is it? Youth partnership. I can't remember what the E stands for, but nevertheless, we're working with YPE on my initiative. This is my initiative, B1A, B11A. And so we're creating a playbook for schools to roll out for student voice on campus, and we're working with YPE. YPE is through Impact Florida. We currently have 2 schools that are implementing the actual YPE program, and that is Palm Beach Lakes as well as John I. Leonard. And so it's, youth participatory, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah.
Education.
Is that it? I don't know, but it could be. So I think that what we should do is think about the parts of this that we have, like Dr. Robinson said. So we're working on student voice, right? And so
Right.
then we have structures.
I'd like to seek out opportunities for Black male students to self-advocate.
Okay, so that's B1. So how do we do this? Okay, never mind. I'm gonna just do it because I'm getting ready to get frustrated and log off because we didn't talk for a half hour about how we gonna do it. So let's just do it. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's B1. Higher expectations for Black male students, though I don't think it's B1.
Right.
So can you just so we can run through this, change that to a different color so we could come back to it and figure out where it goes? Because it's
Sure.
important, right? Okay. I think the same thing for after school clubs. Now I'm gonna just tell y'all what I think and then y'all can correct it. But I'm just
Yeah, go for it.
keep talking. Okay. After school clubs, change that to pink too, would you please? Could make leadership groups in school at lunch. Okay. I think that's B1A. Establish formal structures for students to influence decisions at each school. See, my question now is, while I'm making this up, which initiative it is, how do we make note of that?
Well, we're leaving those as yellow right now. And then making the others a different color, I think, based on what you said.
Okay, that's good. So, all right, so B1 stuff is yellow, right?
Yes.
Right.
B1A,
I'm gonna put it on page.
But wouldn't after-school groups for Black male students also be very similar to that, whether it's lunch or after school? I think the purpose when we discussed it was to provide this opportunity for them to get together and support each other and possibly, come up with what they want to do within the school. That's what I remember. I could be wrong.
Kimberly, so there was I did mention to the group that there is already a structure in place in at least 6 schools right now that Connect to Greatness is leading.
Okay.
And that's probably where some of this
Where?
came from in terms of lunch and all of that, and I'm happy to share all about that. But there is a structure right now in schools with Black males that supports number 1.
Okay, would we want to expand it to all schools, or is that a pilot program?
can we just do these doggone sticky notes, please?
Okay.
Those would be examples under the sticky notes, but y'all getting ready to drive me crazy. Seriously, I don't know if we're ever gonna bring it
So
to
I
a
think
land.
the conversation went that way because we changed after school clubs to pink.
Yeah, I was
and
asking
they're
if
saying,
that belongs back as a yellow sticky.
that's what she was asking.
I
and
don't
put it
think so.
together.
After school clubs can be, now you can have after school clubs that are about student voice, right? But after school clubs could be chess club.
Well, no, we would specify.
Okay.
The videos is something, might have already been done, but where we show it has not been done. The videos on what they want their teachers to know, what has worked, help them. It's top right corner below the pink, like just to the bottom left of the pink one. Yeah. That's something, right? That we put possible action, or I think the parents belong somewhere else, but
Which one? What parents?
just there. You just pointed to it.
This one?
Build partnerships with parents.
So that should be pink?
Yeah, I think. Jump in if I'm wrong, but the mentoring of middle schoolers, I think, is something that, yeah. And seeking opportunities to self-advocate, I think, is, yeah. Now, a tiny finding a way to have social emotional conversations for students, I think belongs here. It's towards the bottom right, bottom left. Did I say left before? I'm sorry. Just above that. There.
Wait, can I offer some consideration on that? There's a whole strategic theme on mental health and wellness.
Okay, so
So
we'll,
maybe there's some things that are in more than one location, and I'm good with that, but, yeah.
yeah, intersectionality. Okay.
We'll make that blue. The intersectionality is blue.
The
How-
mental health is blue?
The intersectionality, if it can go under two
go
different
in one place.
themes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So I think assessing school culture is important. In
Yeah.
in the playbook that we have created, there is a
Yeah.
continuum for schools to decide where they are and where they want to be.
Okay. Jumping back to the social emotional conversations, I do think that that's like allowing them to talk about their feelings is part of self-advocacy and giving them voices. It's a voice on something that they haven't been able to talk about before. But
So-
that's my,
So do
That's
we
not
have
that
some?
You're communicating with bureaucurocracy.
So
Oh.
go
Remember
ahead.
your audience. That's all I'm saying.
So are we combining the SEL conversations with the self-advocacy?
I don't know. Dr. Robinson had about.
Okay, so I think I'm going to mute myself and listen.
No, it's okay. You said something I didn't quite understand, so I was
No, I think the way I see things is,
through the reality of what you've seen in the past.
well, no, what I was going to say is maybe it's weird for other people. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm disruptive. So I'm going to be quiet and listen, and then see if, I can add something at that point. So,
Okay. Well, I'm trying to do what you suggested. I like that. That belongs there, I think.
What?
Jump in if you disagree. Students need positive relationships with administrators.
But that's not establishing a formal structure though.
Okay.
That's just like a statement that we know they need. So what's the structure for that? Open dialogue.
Establishing,
Establish a forum for open dialogue.
right.
Okay.
Dr. Corbin Thaddeus, if you have any comments, I don't mean to take all the space.
Thank you. No, I'm good right now.
Okay. Positive relationships between students and administrators. Okay.
So the reason why I put in peers is because on the SEQ, that was one of the indicators where teachers, faculty, leadership, there was a huge disparagement between how they saw peer-to-peer relationships, which means that nobody's talking to the kids. Because it was like they saw positive relationships peer-to-peer at like 52%, whereas adults thought it was like 80-something%.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What does this one say? Well, we said we're not.
Yeah, make that blue.
Well, it's the same one, though. Have Black male mentors discuss SEL to normalize it, use term wellness. So it's like,
That actually is more specific than the other one.
okay, so delete this one
Yeah.
and then make this one blue. Right, which is what Dr. Robinson was talking about. All right, okay. Find ways to recognize students to make parents proud, not suggested before, but what about honor society or bumper stickers?
I don't think that applies here.
Yeah. Don't they have bumper stickers at schools? They used to.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm putting that on my car though. People got these expensive cars now. Teslas. All right, this doesn't go there.
What's SBM? Student Successful Black Males. Wouldn't that be a voice?
Yes, it's a voice, but I don't think it doesn't go under formal. So I think this would be a sticky note under a different sticky note because it doesn't really go like, where's the structure for that? The structure is the formal conversations that you're going to have. So
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying? So once we
Put it
get,
under the other one and maybe make it a green.
so let's put these to the side. Let's establish what our sticky notes are going to look like. And then we can use the other sticky notes to see if any of them might go under that sticky note in a
Okay.
different color.
The one
Okay?
directly below that goes under seek out opportunities for Black males to self-advocate, which we have to make a structural thing.
Right, so those, right, so that could also probably go in under the establish a structure for open dialogue. So
Okay.
we're gonna make that pink.
Okay.
Nobody's talking. Dr. Robinson has muted herself. Stop, Dr.
I
Robinson.
never asked you to do that.
No.
Well, I meant, Dr. Robinson, I never asked you to mute.
Oh, yeah. So
Put
this one
myself
says
in
create
timeout.
mentor,
What?
mentor, mentor, mentor to mentor to mentor.
I don't know.
Oh, mentor, mentor, mentor. Because I read the dash as mentor two, mentor two, mentor two. All right. So mentor, mentor, mentor. Create SBM, mentor, mentor, mentor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we just need one, but tell me if I'm wrong.
So don't we did we have something about
We had
mentorship?
another one about having a Black teacher, or no, that's behavioral health. Well, there's mentoring from Black male adults within the school system, and then there's mentoring of the successful Black male students, of younger students to help them achieve. Are we talking about both of those on that sticky? Well, there's adult mentorship of the successful Black male students to help them continue to succeed. And then there is successful Black male students in high school mentoring middle schoolers or maybe even elementary schoolers who have the potential so that they can follow in the footsteps. So are we talking about both of those? I think both of those are very, I think they would be very helpful as something giving people voices. Anybody else? Okay.
I agree, Kimberly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and
So
that one
I-
is the same thing.
So I just kind of just reworded it. Create leadership groups representative of successful Black male students in school for mentoring and school activities, lunch, after school, etc.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
All right. Advocacy, mentorship programs, self-advocacy classes. Don't we have something already for self-advocate? Right.
Yeah.
So I can,
But that's more of a structured thing than seek out opportunities.
so you want me to combine these two?
Right.
Okay.
like create. Yeah, I think the yellow one is more relevant, yeah. Or create classes. What else did it say? And program, clubs, yeah. When we say programs, what exactly does that mean?
Maybe not like build partnerships with programs like Connector
Oh, I
Greatness.
see. Partnerships with community programs? Excuse me. Okay. Everyone else, okay? Right. Then get rid of how to and. Oh, how to
Create
self,
create
Confusing.
classes, clubs, or build partnerships with community programs to provide opportunities for Black male students. Well, let's change that. That's where it got to be Black male students to learn how to and the importance of self-advocating.
it would be how to advocate and the importance of self-advocating. I'm sorry, I'm an editor.
To learn how to advocate.
Advocate and the importance of self-advocating. And I'd just like to jump in, there's self-advocacy and there's advocating for others. And I think those are both skills that are needed.
Create a community of like-minded students, clubs with mentoring.
That can go with,
Wouldn't that be the create classes, clubs, build partnerships?
yeah, and then to the left of the pink one is another, like the same thing.
This one?
No, to the left of the pink one you were just writing on. Yeah, that's the same thing, isn't it?
Right. So,
We're gonna have to kind of make an
I'm gonna make this.
overarching one, and then sub things that we're gonna
Yes.
build clubs, we're going to have mentoring programs, we're going to correct everyone? Is that what we're trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So we're gonna make that one pink and move that one over here. Move this one here. Move this one here. Make this one pink. Because that's about the same thing, so.
Okay.
And what is this one? This orange one. Hire more Black male behavioral health professionals.
yeah, so I guess that goes in the
Dr.
behavioral one,
Mucinek.
or not behavioral, the mental health one. Unless we think those should be the ones that provide mentoring, which they could be part of it. But I also think teachers and administrators.
Dr. Mucinek is in the room because she's doing the presentation. And I said, hire more Black male behavioral health professionals. Dr. Mucinek is saying, well, when you find them, send them to me.
True. Okay. Okay, and the blue one. So it looks like the yellow ones we have are making videos. Any tool should include student,
It's
okay.
not on the big screen. Oh,
Can we specify what kind of tools for
I don't know how
someone
to
like
do
me
it.
who's outside of the district?
oh, that's because, oh wait, I gotta stop. Did I do it? Jonathan did it. 'Cause I'm like, I didn't do that. All right. What'd you say, Kimberly? We're trying to put it on the big screen.
So any tool should include student, faculty, and admin voices. But what do we mean by tool? I'm not in the district, so that probably is a term of art that I don't know.
where any tool should include.
Right,
an-
what kind of tool are we talking about?
So any tool that you create, for example, the equity analysis tool that I created.
Okay, that's
Any,
what I mean.
anything that is policy tools that the district is using, that's what they're saying. I don't have to
Okay.
close. I don't think we need that.
Maybe add the word policy. I mean, I wasn't sure a tool that teachers use or,
So I don't know if we, I think they're talking about any tool that has to do with us aligning
any for the strategic
for
plan.
for this particular, we're not working on the strategic plan. What we're doing is working on whatever you guys are presenting to align to the strategic plan, to this initiative. So any tool you create, any document, you're not creating policy. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay, so you're not creating policy. Whatever
So-
you're creating, so this should probably really be pink.
okay. Because that applies to the whole thing, right? All of the
Right.
different-
So you just
Okay.
have to make sure whatever you're creating as a result of this work, that it says students, faculty, and administration,
Okay,
that you're addressing those voices, because it's a collaboration. You want to
Okay.
move toward collaboration when it comes to student voice,
right.
collaborative decision-making. All right, Dr. Robinson, you back?
Now you can jump in. All of,
Did we
Dr.
do what you
Corbett,
wanted us to do?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm just waiting for y'all to finish processing to see if I understand. So I'm
I
good.
think we finished processing so far. I could use some input.
We'll start with Dr. Corbin Thaddeus.
Yes.
That's not fair, Dr. Robinson. I'm trying to get clear
Wanna assess
myself.
School climate and culture, create a tool to assess how the school climate and culture affect SBMS.
So the way that I read this is that we're not trying to affect SBMS. What we're trying to do is utilize our successful black males, and just tell me if I'm wrong, stop me. Utilize our successful black males that are currently in our district to advocate and mentor those students that are not as successful. Am I correct? No, I'm not correct.
Well, that's one piece of it, I think, but when,
Wait. Dr.
That's
Corbin
what
Thaddeus
this
said
is.
I'm not correct.
So I think this assess school climate culture came out of the learnings that when we were talking about the research. And so I think what this was a bullet for us to remind ourselves that perhaps there is that we should consider a tool or some way in which to assess school climate culture. And we didn't come to a solution around that, but it was a bullet that we wanted to keep front of mind.
So with that being said, there is a playbook that is being rolled out with this initiative that will assess school climate and culture as far as student voice is concerned. So that
should we look at the playbooks so we aren't infringing
it's
upon
still
what's
in the
already there?
works. Still in the works. Had to be sent back.
And who is it for?
What do you mean?
Who's the playbook for?
It's for schools.
For schools, meaning like principals, for teachers,
For schools, it starts with the principal and leadership team, and then there is there's someone, they have to assign someone on campus, and then that someone, it will be trained, and then there will be a team that works towards student voice. That team, it's a train-the-trainer type of situation, and then that person trains their team, and then it's a process of their activities in there. And it's all suggested, because once people get to their campus, they get to their campus. there is some accountability measurements in place as far as keeping them accountable, but yeah. And then assessing school climate and culture, even though we don't have as many people as we need to look at, to complete the SEQ, like, there's that also. Data from the SEQ.
Remind me what SCQ is, please.
It's the, well, I can't remember what it's, school effectiveness questionnaire. There it is right there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'd like to add, not 2 cents, but 1 penny to this. The assess school climate and culture, I think belongs under objective C1, enhance a sense of belonging, safety, and acceptance for all students. But ours would say something to the effect of assess school climate and culture to determine any barriers to successful Black male development, or some language like that. Because again, all of our stuff, while it's going to fit under the strategic plan, is about quote, cultivating and supporting successful Black male students. But I think it belongs under C1 personally.
Okay. So in other words, we're not going to address that, or we are, and we're just going to specify where it goes in the plan.
So
I thought that's what we were doing for all of these stickies, is where does it go in the strategic plan? That's what I thought we were doing. No?
I thought that they wanted to focus on the student culture, the student focused culture. So that's why we went straight to this page.
Right, but then we're going to go to other pages, right?
I thought we were just doing this page because they wanted to focus on student focused culture.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr. Robertson, I thought that we had decided that, well, Janine, at her recommendation, looking at a specific area of the strategic plan, and we thought that student voice was probably the most central to our conversation, and then aligning to that. That's what I thought.
Because we're making one recommendation today,
Right.
it doesn't mean we're going to make other recommendations to the next meeting.
Yeah, I thought this was our maybe primary focus.
I think this is a huge task as far as the 5 stickies that you guys have. And Dr. Robinson, when you talked about assessing school climate and culture, I think that that's the first thing that needs to be done. Whether the assessment is looking at the data, looking at what you have in place as far as on campus is concerned, I think that's the first step to, like, what do we already have? So, do we need to create leadership groups, representatives of successful Black males for mentoring and school activities? Well, we already have Connect to Greatness. We already have this. We already have that. So what does that look like currently on our campus? And what could it look like for this to move bigger and better? So I think the assessment is important.
To all the schools, because if it's only in 6.
Okay, but you're talking about district level. We're not talking about district level. I'm talking about when you get to a specific campus. So now, district level, yes.
School and the district.
But I can't expand something at somebody else's school that I'm a principal of.
No, but we ain't talking about you.
No. I know.
Hold it. We're right now, okay, y'all tell me I'm wrong. That'd be just fine. I'm talking about systems and structures that either support or impair the development of successful Black male students.
Correct.
Okay, and so these opportunities like Connect to Greatness and so forth, okay, is there, but it needs to be expanded. Like somebody used that word, right? And so, so if you're a principal at school A, I get that you don't have any control over whether or not there's a similar or Connect to Greatness at school B. That's not what we're talking about. So after we figure out what we're pushing for, then we'll have to go back and start talking about the how-tos, right?
Correct.
See, I told y'all should leave me muted. Let me mute myself.
No,
Go.
I was just saying, Dr. Robinson, you said that the assessment went in C. All I was saying is that it also belongs here because, and I just used as an example. Like, so if I already have Connect to Greatness on my campus, where can I go to push forward to make creating opportunities for successful Black males on my campus? How can I do that better? So I was just saying that the assessment part probably needs to stay. That's all I was saying about the sticky note.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Apparently I
To assess
misunderstood.
where we are. Where are we and where are we going? That was it.
But I want to, but to Dr. Robertson's point about structure, do we want to focus on that, the structure that's in place? Like, number one, does everybody know what structure is in place when we talk about the 6 schools? Do we know what that structure looks like? Is it a structure that we want to bring forward as a recommendation, as an expansion, as we were just talking about, to begin to establish a space for student voice? So that's my question. So I feel like I kind of get off a little bit, but.
No, and no one knows that because the system is so decentralized, right? And so my first thought is, in order to determine that, there would have to be like a principal survey, right? Like Mr. Tierney would have to send out like a principal survey to ask them, do you have this, that, whatever, right? And then to see what's out there.
Can you explain that again, Dr. Robinson? I'm sorry, I'm really confused now. Say that again.
Okay, see, it might be me, but no, what I was saying is nobody knows what exists across the county.
Well, we
Right.
kind of do, though. If we're
Okay.
if we're talking about, well, let me ask this: exist as it relates to student voice, or exist as it relates to Black male students' voice?
I'm gonna say all of that. Okay, if it's not something, for example, like does every high school offer advanced placement physics? If it's not in a database that you could pull it from, we don't know. Now you might know Connected Greatness is in this, and this school. You know that, but you don't know what's at the other schools. And if you say that you have if you want to know what initiatives there are to, I'm gonna use the word cultivate because that appears to be my word today, successful Black male students, then it might not, some school might be doing something, whether they're effective or not is not what I'm talking about right now, but they might be doing something that is not part of any system that we know about. It might be, Miss Jones, the social studies teacher, who is taking it upon herself to do this thing, right?
Understood.
So,
Yeah, understood. And so I guess my question is, I don't know if it's a question or a frustration, but our continued need to, I feel like there's a spin that goes on as it relates to, like, let's find out. And what happens is our Black boys continue to not be supported because we're spinning on finding out what's all happening and what's all happening in the world. So that becomes a frustration for me because that's in all systems. Like, that's a part of the problem. We can never, there's never any, it doesn't feel like there is movement, action. Nobody steps into anything because we are spinning on, let's find out, let's do research. I think we have enough information. Our boys are not, like, their voices are not being heard. We do know that. If there were systems in place that were making that happen, we probably would know about them. If there's informal systems happening, great. We're talking about a formal structure according to the strategic plan. That's what I'm trying to bring forward. If we want to make a recommendation, I can offer a structure for conversation. We know that
Well,
principals are on board because they are sponsoring them. We know that their staff are on board because they're supporting them. We know that it actually supports the self-advocacy, all the things that we wrote down, self-advocacy. There is opportunity, and it is inserted to discuss SELs, actually, we call it social emotional wellness, with Black male mentors / coaches. It builds the peer relationships that we are talking about and the faculty administrators' relationships, including the principals. Those boys are talking to the principals about the concerns that they have, and they're offering solutions. So there's a structure in place. Now, maybe not for all those stickies right now, but if we're talking about Black male student voices and needing a structure to support that, there's a container for that already.
Well, that part's clear. I mean, I wasn't suggesting it wasn't. What I'm telling you is you do not know what exists. I don't think there's any individual who knows what exists around any segment of this work across the system, because
I
the
agree.
system is decentralized. And
agree.
I'm not talking about getting into the paralysis of the analysis, as Dr. DuPont calls it.
That's right.
I'm talking about Mr. Tierney could simply send a Google form to principals and say, what do you have? I'm not talking about this big whoop, whoop, whoop stuff, right? But I'm gonna guarantee you this, right? We're not gonna make the kind of change we're talking about unless we work the hearts and minds of the people who have the controls, which is the principals. So you've done that with the principals that you work with, right? And so I'm just telling you, I hear the frustration. I appreciate it, but you gotta work the system and the barriers contained within, or else they will check the box and not do it with substance.
Understood, and I appreciate it. And I'm wondering if we can do both at the same time. So
Yes,
if we,
Why not?
But you asked a question about what exists across the system. That's what I was
I
responding.
didn't, no, I didn't ask that question.
I'm the one that did.
That wasn't my
Oh, okay.
question, because I
Okay,
already
good.
know
Glad I didn't
that
imagine.
there's probably little or nothing, or it's informal. No, I didn't ask that question. I was just
Okay.
trying to get clarity. And I agree, if that's helpful to get something out to principals, and, I'll just guess that it's probably, there's probably nothing in place. And I think at the same time, if there's an offering, when we do see those results, I think we're better prepared.
Okay, so my idea of trying to expand it, is that something we want to propose or not? And I'm sorry if I'm not understanding and you explained it, or you already expressed that. But we have a good system, it's working. Do we want to try to expand it to?
What is it?
Right. What is it? Right. Do you want me to, I can share the it, because that's what I was wondering, if,
Well,
I can
you
just talk
said it
through-
exists, so I
Yeah.
would, yes, share that, and then we can, I guess, recommend each part of it individually. I just thought it was a package.
Dr. Robinson, was that your question?
Yeah, what's the it? Yeah, what are we talking about? Okay, y'all can do a package if you want to, but go ahead, do your thing. I'm muting myself. I think
No, and ask your question again, Dr. Robinson.
never mind. I don't have a question.
She said, what is the it? If it
Okay.
exists, what is
Yeah.
it?
So I can give a quick synopsis of the it. So there is a program right now, like, as I was mentioning, in the schools, and I'm happy to share on the screen, but there's a program, it's called Lunchbox Talks. So that's the model that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And let me see, I can pull it up here. Jonathan, I think I should be able to just share. Okay, perfect. Let me just do this really quickly.
While she's doing that, we have 10 minutes. We can say we're still working on it and present it next month, or we need to at least present one thing if we want. Okay.
Yeah, let me just run through this real quick. I'm not going to do the rationale, but this is basically what we're talking about, and that is Black male
Yes.
students and their voices, right? So when we were talking about the research, there's this research plus the research that I shared I think at the last meeting. I do have that as well with the highlights. And then, so here's the model. I don't know if you can see it. So real quickly, so again, like I said, it's called Lunchbox Talks, and it's a program that's currently in the schools that I mentioned. So the student-led lunch discussions, and they're weekly with Black male students, facilitated by Black male mentors and coaches. And the students, these are student-led, student-crafted discussions. They bring in their very relevant issues that they might have personally and academically, and our coaches actually support them in those conversations and getting to a solution. So there have been issues that have come up, and boys have gotten into fights, and one of the examples is, they were at gym, or, and they were fighting over basketball and all the things, and so they were having a conversation about it. Coach, got them to thinking about, what the issue was, and so they ended up saying that, they don't have enough basketballs. And so they wrote a letter to the principal about that issue and simply ordering more basketballs, and it eliminated the fighting and the frustration of the boys. So there's simple things that sometimes impact our students that if we don't know or talk about it, then it continues to be a vicious cycle for them. As I mentioned, these are principal-sponsored and staff-supported sessions on campuses. You see the schools there. Right now, we limit the number of students that we serve to 10. You see 62 because two schools really wanted one more student that they wanted to be in the program, so we allowed them to do that. So it's 62. Here are the successes. So the boys that have been in this program have 93% successful in terms of attendance at school. You see that. So and they've all been promoted to the next grade. 20 of them made honor roll, and 97% of them did not have any discipline or referral issues. There are several boys who have asked on these campuses about being a part of the program. Again, we only allow up to 10 to keep it small and intimate. It is creating what I shared in my research around connection, belonging, and trust. These students are excited to be a part of it. They come, they're open. They have a cohort, as you can see there, that, they support each other. They have shirts that says Lunchbox Talks Leaders. So they're actually ambassadors in their schools. They show up as leaders in their classrooms. They have more confidence, all the things. So that's the reason why we're seeing 97% of them that don't have discipline and referral issues. It is supporting the voices that we're talking about, the self-advocacy, building that relationship with not only their peers, but their administrators, and then, of course, the social-emotional wellness that I spoke about. So when we're talking about expansion, I just, again, first stab, nothing in set in stone, but here is one way, right? Supporting an additional 5 students. You can go additional, 5 students, 5 schools. So that's one way. Another way might be going deeper in the schools that we have. But the point is, schools that have a demographic match of students and right now may not have and or lack Black male adults on campuses. So if we went with 5 additional schools, it's possible to serve an additional 100 students. This could be a twice a week, which is deeper than the current program that we're running right now. And it's something that we could get set up and in position to be successful and rolled out next year. And I'm recommending a 2-year pilot versus a 1 year.
Does the initial school have the capacity to do it twice a week or more in depth?
They do.
Then it doesn't make sense not to, does it?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Well, I want to think bigger than that. So, you call it a pilot, but it seemed like you already piloted.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, so in my mind then, and I'm not thinking through the pathway how to get there, but the goal would be then um, to do like a train the trainer thing, right? Like, so get um, teachers who would be willing to lead this at their respective schools, and then train them, and then maybe have some like virtual follow-ups with them once a month to see how it's going, share tips, whatever, right? So that then you can expand the work more rapidly, because um, I mean, I get that this is important work, you know?
I have a quick question. There was Dr. Corbin Thaddeus mentioned having enough black male teachers in a school. Is that why those ones were chosen? How many schools don't have enough? Do you know?
I don't,
100%.
go ahead, Dr. Robinson.
I said 100%.
Right.
Well, yes, you're right. But I meant to roll out a program like this. That's what I'm wondering. If there are a huge number of schools, like, I
So
don't know.
let me, hang on, Kimberly. So let me say that I'm not suggesting or even recommending that schools take this on as their own. Like, that's not my recommendation. So I want to be clear about that. We, Connect to Greatness, could roll this out in schools with our recruitment of our black male mentors to go to schools.
Okay.
Okay? So it's not a burden for the schools to figure it out. Nothing
Okay.
happens that way. That's not what I'm asking or recommending. It's not to
Well,
hand it over to
that's good.
the school. Yeah.
That's good, but I would suggest a hybrid, right? So some schools it might be your staff, if you will, but there's other schools where there's going to be teachers who are chomping at the bit to do something like this.
Black
Right.
male teachers, Dr. Robinson, I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Yes. So so thank you. So what I'm saying is we could lead that charge. And so where
Right.
there are black male teachers, we could support them and get them, like you said, like kind of a trainer to actually run the program at their schools.
Right.
Yes, you're right. We could do that.
So
I'm saying
it
I
would
don't,
be like a hybrid.
say it again?
It would be like a hybrid. So if the school doesn't have a black male teacher who is ready and willing to lead such a program, then one of your folks would come in and do it if
Yeah.
the principal is interested, kind of thing, right? We can make the case for why the principal should be interested.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
Okay.
All right.
And eventually,
good night.
because Connect to Greatness only has a limited staff, so hitting every school right away would not be possible. So it's
Anything
like
is possible. No, Kimberly, anything is possible.
Okay.
Anything is
Wonderful.
possible.
I love that idea.
So there's no impossibilities right now. Anything is possible.
What do we want to recommend?
Say that again?
What do we want to recommend at the meeting, which starts in a minute?
Dr. Robinson, you want to put forth a recommendation?
Nope. No, because this is what I know happens, right? So we'll recommend one thing or one category like student voice, and then we'll say, we're going to come back to the rest, but it's not going to be heard the same way. So like you guys can do that if you want to, but
Do we want to wait then and make our recommendation later? Is that what you're saying?
I would like a package recommendation.
Okay, so we
Oh,
just.
with more than one thing, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, and more than one thing too.
Okay.
We just talked about student voice. I thought we were gonna try to go through all of the stickies and attach them to the strategic plan. You
Okay,
know?
we can do that, and we just say to the group that currently we are working on this one strategic plan goal and sub-goals.
I don't mean to interrupt, but it's 10 o'clock, so we have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say what we're working on. Is that okay?
That sounds good, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it a different link? Do we go to a different link or stay on this one?
A different link.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Good morning. Do you need? That's,
You coming?
let me know when you're ready.